You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
And joining us now here on Katz and Cosby to talk about the cost of migrant crime and the migrant crisis, some stunning new numbers. Joining us is Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis of the great state of New York. Congresswoman, first off, these new numbers, $5 billion is what New York City alone has spent in just 2 years. That is shocking.
What's more shocking is the amount of crime we have seen in New York City. So literally what they're doing is they're paying individuals to come, whether it's with free shelter, free services like health care, legal services, laundry services even. They're incentivizing them to come to New York City. And then on top of it, many of them we have now seen are indeed gang members, people who are hardened criminals. We had a 13-year-old girl raped in Queens, another woman raped in Brooklyn, and cops shot at, all by illegal immigrants who, by the way, are in these shelters. So we, the taxpayers, are paying for these individuals to come here and get these free services, and then they're wreaking havoc on our community. So this is the crisis that has been created by the Democrats here in New York and in Washington. Let's make no mistake about it. Joe Biden gave these people the ability to come in. In many cases, they even received parole to come in. They are not vetted. And then they come to New York City. Why? Because the mayor and the governor are providing all these free services. So the Democrats continue to incentivize illegal immigration. And you know what the worst part of it is? I have so many immigrants in my district who their relatives have been waiting patiently for court dates to come in legally. Or they're here, they have green cards, they have working papers, and yet they're trying to get their citizenship. And those people who did everything right and played by the rules are being pushed to the end of the line because this administration, the Biden-Harris administration, is prioritizing court dates for the people who actually crossed illegally, the ones who paid the drug cartels thousands of dollars to enter. It is so wrong and lopsided. And to me, that's an anti-immigrant agenda because they are hurting the people who have come here and did everything right, played by the rules, by pushing them to the end of the line.
What do you make, Congresswoman, too, of you brought up, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? I mean, you look at their philosophies. Kamala Harris has come out and in the past said she thinks anybody who crosses the border, that they're not illegal. She also thinks that everybody in the detention centers should essentially be let out. And now they're trying to pretend like they're tough on the border. I mean, how do you square with that?
Look, the Democrats have a very warped view of what is happening here. They want to, again, allow for these unvetted individuals to enter our country, which is crazy, to not know who these people are, particularly after we caught terrorists on the watch list in the interior. Remember, these are people that were stopped, but the Biden administration forced them to be released into the interior. And then we later on find out that they're terrorists. We found out that some gang members. We found out that these are hardened criminals that have committed crimes in other countries. Why not do that vetting process up front and encourage people to use the proper process to come to our country and apply to be citizens? That's the way it should be done. But what you're seeing even worse, people like Kamala Harris do not believe that criminals should be deported. We're seeing that same sentiment by the Democrats here in New York City when they passed the sanctuary law with Bill de Blasio that protected them from deportation, even if they committed crimes. So here you have people committing crimes over and over again. The person who raped somebody recently here in New York City was arrested for a sex assault last year. But he was allowed to stay. He wasn't turned over to ICE for deportation despite a detainer request being there. That's how lopsided the Democrats are on this issue. They just support complete lawlessness, Rita.
And Congresswoman, some other really stunning news. There was recently a report that 1 in 5 New York City hotels are filled with migrants. And also another report that some investigators are saying that some of these migrant shelters are being run by gangs, just like how some of the gangs are running prisons. some of these gangs, like Venezuelan gangs, are running some of the migrant shelters. How concerning is that?
It is so concerning, obviously, for the public safety issues. As I mentioned before, New Yorkers are being victimized by so many of these people that the mayor is forcing us, the taxpayers, to pay to house in these hotels. So it's not just, and then obviously it's destructive to our tourism, to our economy. But think about the cost here, Rita. When we talk about $5 billion, we are right now at the lowest level of police officers since September 11th. Okay, we are down thousands of police officers that we desperately need as crime continues in our city. But also classrooms overcrowded. We could use more seats for our children to be educated in smaller settings so they can learn better. We have issues with NYCHA, our public housing right now, falling apart, some of these apartments and buildings, and they could certainly use upgrades. The transit system crumbling in New York City. They're crying for congestion pricing, the Democrats, because they want $1 billion a year. But here they're wasting $5 billion that could be used to fix our subway and bus system. So think about what their priorities are. They are giving our money, the hardworking taxpayers' money, to people who just entered this country, while lifelong New Yorkers are suffering with these quality of life issues.
Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, so great to have you on this very important topic here on Katz and Cosby. Great to have you with us.
Great to be with you. Thank you, Rita.